Payday 3. This game has seen a lot of ups and downs ever since launch. A lot of drama surrounding Starbreeze and the developers themselves, some really well-received updates, and many moments of disappointment as well. At its core, Payday 3 made some great improvements over Payday 2. Stealth was expanded and evolved to be far beyond anything that was possible in Payday 2, and the core gameplay for loud players also saw a lot of improvements. You can vault over obstacles, you can slide, you can take human shields, and the list goes on. There are a lot of really good improvements to the core gameplay from Payday 2 to Payday 3. But the game always suffered in many other departments. Even though the core gameplay is really solid, almost everything surrounding it was completely half-baked. There are a lot of features from Payday 2 that are still missing from Payday 3, but let's go back to the beginning. When Payday 3 was released in September of 2023, it was an unmitigated disaster. The servers were down for days as players tried to get their hands on the first new Payday game in 10 years. When players actually got into play, the disappointment was just as massive as the hype. I'm sure many people are already aware of that. They soon released a couple of classic heists for free and their first paid DLC, Syntax Error. This DLC was insanely overpriced when you compared it to anything from Payday 2. And 2024 started off rough too. They delayed the rest of the DLC and, they started Operation Medic Bag. They were working on other things, trying to improve the health of the game for the long term, which wasn't great because people were starving for new content. People began thinking that the second DLC, Boys in Blue, didn't even exist. It was a pretty dark time, but then they finally revealed Boys in Blue and people were pretty excited, myself included, and when it came out, it was received pretty well. This actually brought me back to the game, and I'm glad that I came back for it because it's a really fun heist. They added some fun new weapons, and they brought back Clover, who is one of my favorite characters from Payday 2. And they started setting up the next DLC, Houston Breakout, which came out pretty soon after. And that name carries some weight with it. It mirrors Hoxton Breakout from Payday 2, which was one of the best free updates for that game, in my opinion. This was my favorite DLC heist from year one. I think it's the most unique heist in the game so far. You break into the courthouse during Houston's trial, escort him through the building, and airlift him out, all while stealing or destroying the evidence that they have on him. Plus, they released another heist for free along with Houston Breakout called Diamond District. The community was actually really positive toward the game at this point. We were getting new content at a really good pace, and it was quality stuff. And the next DLC was released only 1 month later, and it was titled Fear and Greed. This heist had you breaking into the New York Stock Exchange to steal all the money, and it was a fine way to end year one. Year 2 was kicked off with a massive UI overhaul, which finally added the classic CrimeNet server browser system to the game, which was sorely needed. Then they began teasing First World Bank, a classic bank heist from the original game that was remade in Payday 2, and it really plays into the big, large-scale heisting fantasy. It's the core Payday experience summed up in one heist. And they also began teasing something else, a crossover that is very familiar to Payday fans and Hotline Miami fans alike, the Jacket character pack. This was released back in February of this year. The build-up to this reveal was insane. They were dropping little hints about Jacket's return for months at this point. And I was so hyped, my jaw dropped when they finally released the trailer, officially announced Jacket. I was so excited, and when he released, they really outdid themselves. I honestly think that his voice lines are even better than the ones in Payday 2. They put a lot of effort and detail into his whole character. There were some people that were upset about the price, but it's only $6, and we've all played games that would gladly charge you $20, $30, $40, $50 or more for a single skin, let alone a brand new, fully voice-acted character. Jacket came with a brand new form of progression as well, overskills. And of course they added a baseball bat overskill as part of the DLC, along with a new stealth-based overskill for all players. Unfortunately, this update was the only content we got since December, and the only content we would receive until May. when they released the Party Powder DLC, which is a decent heist, but nothing really special in my opinion. But alongside Party Powder, they also released the Armor 2.0 system, which took the previously controversial armor system of Payday 3 and made it into something really special. It's too much to explain in this video, but if you haven't seen it, Armor 2.0 gives you an insane amount of customization for your playstyle. You can use classic Payday 2 style armor. If you want to keep using the Payday 3 style, you can go ahead. You can make a hybrid out of both styles that you can actually apply to different chunks of your armor. It's insane. It's so detailed and it gives you so much freedom with your builds. In my opinion, this system is a direct upgrade not only to Payday 3's armor system, but it also blows Payday 2's out of the water as well. It's just really cool. And later on, they also added a new game mode called Smash and Grab, which essentially takes existing heists and modifies them to be like really fast-paced. You can complete them in just a few minutes. It's like a little microcosm of a full heist, and it's a nice change of pace if you just want to play loud and get right into the action and play for a few minutes. And now we come to the present day of Payday 3. The new DLC, Delivery Charge, is out, and Starbreeze actually gave me this DLC for free, so I have to give a quick thank you to Starbreeze. The big thing that they were hyping up for this DLC was randomization. They said that some things would be different each time you play the heist, and they were right. This heist does have more randomization than the other heists in Payday 3, but that's not exactly a high bar when you consider that one of the biggest complaints about Payday 3 was the lack of RNG for each heist. Payday 2 often had little elements of randomness in pretty much every heist. Like in the default bank heist from launch, sometimes the vault would be in a different room, or the security room would be in a different part of the building. They may seem like small changes at first, but they can completely change your approach to stealth and can radically change your methods of defending the building in loud. Most of the changes in Delivery Charge have to do with the transport trucks that you're looting, and it's a welcome change, but they definitely need to do more RNG going forward and add RNG to previous heists. I think that if you want to pick up on Payday 3 right now, grab the Year 1 edition, and if it's on sale, definitely pick it up. It's a good co-op game. It's not perfect, but you can definitely have fun for at least a few dozen hours. And if you enjoy the game, then I definitely recommend the Jacket Character Pack. He's such an awesome character, and the Sociopath Overskill is really fun. The other two DLCs, Party Powder and Delivery Charge, which came out this year, aren't really necessary. They're decent heists, but they don't feel different enough for me to tell everyone to go out and buy them. If you have a friend that owns them, then just join their game and play it with them. But if you really want some more Payday 3 heists, then this is kind of what you have for now. But they just don't feel as inspired as the DLC we were getting for Payday 2. Payday 2 has an incredible catalog of different heists for you to play. A lot of them are free too. So hopefully the future heists in Payday 3 will be just as cool as Payday 2's DLC. And speaking of which, how does the future of the Payday franchise look? Well, Payday 3 is still getting updates, and Starbreeze just cancelled their other game, Project Baxter, because they want to focus on Payday as a franchise. Thank God, every time that Starbreeze has tried to make anything other than Payday, it's always ended up being a failure, either commercially or critically. And they've been stuck in a cycle of making Payday content that is successful, then they try and branch out into other projects which inevitably fail, and then they inevitably go back to Payday when they realize that that's what their community wants, it's their golden goose. It's like that meme of the little goo thing that tries to escape the little cube it's in and then just gets punched right back in. It's like that, but everyone wants it to be in there. And it seems that the new CEO of Starbreeze actually understands this. He said that they're, doubling down on Payday as a franchise, that, it's their thing. They are the Payday guys. And people love Payday, and this is the only studio that can make it, so they gotta double down on it, because people want it. And they've already announced a completely new skill system for Payday 3. They are completely gutting the current skill system and just getting rid of it, and they're replacing it with something much more familiar. It looks a lot closer to like Payday 2 style of skill upgrades. This is a huge step in the right direction. It feels like they're actually trying to acknowledge some of their past mistakes and they're actually making huge changes to the game that will breathe new life into the franchise and give it more success in the long run. But there is still a lot more that needs to be done. I already talked about how they need more variety when it comes to heists, but I really want to stress that point. They need to make more compelling storylines that allow them to have awesome new ideas for a unique heist. Think about something like Alaskan Deal from Payday 2. The gang is betrayed, and you need to fight your way out of a sticky situation. It's not even really a heist, you're fighting to survive, and it plays really well into the overarching storyline. Or how about Boiling Point? Boiling Point was really over the top, like a bit too over the top, but the idea of parachuting into another country to steal something from a secret compound is the exact kind of action movie shit that the Payday gang should be doing more of. Even something as simple as Go Bank was actually really interesting when you wanted to do it in stealth. It incorporated RNG in really meaningful ways, and it's so unique how you have to take total control of this little small town bank while avoiding the attention of civilians and law enforcement. Or even Mall Crasher. It plays into that power fantasy that Payday thrives on. You're extorting this little mall for protection money. It's not just a heist, it's like an actual job you're doing. Payday 3 really needs some more unique ideas like this, and we have gotten some good ones, like Houston Breakout, Boys in Blue, Fear and Greed. Like, those are all really good ones, but the last two we just got are just raiding another warehouse, and that's not really that exciting. And that is just the start. There are a lot of things that this game needs. We definitely need the ability to customize our AI crewmates. Even if it's just cosmetic, it's a small thing that makes solo play way better. Being able to create your ideal Payday gang is a lot of fun in Payday 2, and it's kind of insane that this isn't in Payday 3 at all. And if we're talking about playing solo, we also need offline mode. They recently said that offline mode isn't a priority for them right now, but it needs to come at some point. You know, if you're a Payday fan and your internet goes out and you don't have Payday 2 installed, you have Payday 3 installed, well, tough shit. You're essentially holding on to useless data at that point. And how about Akimbo? We don't have any Akimbo in Payday 3, and granted, it wasn't in Payday 2 at launch either, but if they added Akimbo to Payday 3, they could make it so much better than it was in Payday 2. I mean, that game was held together by duct tape and dreams. They could make a really cool, like, actual dual trigger Akimbo system for Payday 3, and it would feel great. Maybe they could even find a way to let us mix and match different secondaries and put them in our primary, like the little secondary SMG and like a Deagle, run those both at the same time. And how about C4 and Saws? You're telling me that the Payday gang finds a locked door and they say, oh well, time to find another way into this room so that we can unlock this door from the other side. No, they wouldn't do that. I mean, it makes sense in stealth, but I should be able to take skills that let me blow the door up, and they could make it work on safes too. I mean, that worked great in Payday 2. It gave you different, really diverse builds. You can bring C4 or you can invest in lockpicking. It really made Payday 2 feel flexible with the builds you can make. And pre-planning needs to come back, like the actual classic pre-planning. This is one of the core parts of the whole heisting fantasy in Payday 2, and pre-planning in Payday 3 is nearly non-existent. Payday 2's pre-planning allowed for some really awesome moments on certain heists, and it would be a shame if we never ever got this system back. And we definitely need a large progression overhaul. We are getting the skill overhaul at some point, but Renown just isn't as cool as Infamy. Going Infamous in Payday 2 just scratches that itch for more progression, just like Prestige does in Call of Duty. Plus, it's a great way to make sure that we don't always have infinite amounts of money. I mean, some of my favorite memories from Payday 2 were the early days, when you didn't have a lot of money and it felt like you were taking odd jobs to pay for new equipment. And we really never got that with Payday 3. It's just way too easy to get every single item in the game. And that is something else we need too. We need more things to spend our money on. It could be the Infamy system, it could be more weapons or cosmetics to buy or attachments or whatever, or if they ever want to bring back the safe house, they could find a lot of ways to add a new money sink there. I'm a big fan of the safe house from Payday 2, and it's not a priority for the core game, but it just made the game feel more complete. It felt like there was more to the game than just going into a heist and going back to the main menu. So Payday 3 is slowly yet surely getting better. It might not ever reach the height of Payday 2, but it's still a damn fun game, and I'm curious to know what you guys want to see in Payday 3, so let me know down in the comments. Of course, I want to thank my channel members, Swickity, ArchAngelShipyards, DirtyKnightmare, NOTSAINTT, Cheddar, Minuby, and Mushroombytheoaktree. Thank you guys for your continued support of the channel, it means a lot to me. And that is all I have for today, so this is Grand Moff Togan signing off.